back to my channel. My name is Okwemi. Welcome to Okwemi's Corner. If you're new here, hi. If you're a returning subscriber, it's so good to see you again. So yeah, in today's video I'm bringing you guys another medicine content because I realized that you guys love it and I love to share it, so why not? So as you can tell from the title of today's video already and from the thumbnail, I'm going to be sharing about failing in medical school. I'm just going to be giving you guys, I'm going to be sharing the story of what really happened and also sharing with you guys the tips that helped me get through when I had, you know, the failure, quote and unquote. So in a particular video titled "Is Medicine Worth in Nigeria?" I'm going to link it up here. I remember sharing about the stages of medical school, and I explained in that video that with medical school it's unlike any other kind of course, whereby with medicine you literally can only move on to the next level when you've passed the previous level. It's like secondary school or primary school. So if you're going to advance to 200 level, you have to pass 100 level. If you're going to advance to 2 to 3, you have to pass 2, and so on and so forth to final year. And there are usually two things that happen. So the first thing that can happen is if a person fails an exam, the person will either have to resit the exam, okay, or repeat the class, depending on a couple of factors that I don't know if they're necessary to really go into right now. But if you have any questions about that, you can always ask me in the comment section or send me an email. I'll be sure to respond. Yeah, so there are a couple of factors like that that can determine what would happen. So for me, it was the exam that I was writing from 300 level to enter into 400 level. So the background of this story is this. So typically 100 level was a good year for me. 100 level, we don't do major medicine stuff. We basically just do basic sciences, so chemistry, physics, biology, maths, English, all of those basic things. That's what we do in 100 level. So 100 level was a bit of a breeze, also because I had done A levels. I believe that kind of helped me with 100 level. So yeah guys, I also apologize if the lightning in this video is going like you know, because obviously I'm filming outside because I couldn't be bothered to do a setup inside, to be honest with you. So yeah, so when I entered 200 level, we didn't have a promotional exam to 300 because usually for my school, the school that I went to, we do the promotional exam we write in 300 level is usually a accumulation of what we've done in 2 and 300 level because it's still the same courses basically. So yeah, we had exams, promotional exams, 300 level going to 400 level, and this was in 2016 if I remember clearly. And so in 300 level we do 3 courses. We do physiology, we do biochemistry, and we do anatomy. And so this course that I failed was physiology. And it was so painful, so sad, because I was still going to the story of how I found out and whatnot. But physiology was one course where I never really had an issue because in the course of the year, of the 2 years, we do a series of tests called in courses to basically know, you know, where we stand. Do you get? So I had been passing my in courses, at least the ones that I got to see, because there were some that we didn't see up until after we even left the class. So I had passed all my in courses, so I expected that I was going to pass the exam because physiology was never really an issue. Even my anatomy and biochem in courses as well, which are the tests, I had been doing well with them. So to be honest, I did not think that I would have any issue with my exam. So I remember that fateful day. We had finished writing the exam, and medical school exams are like always intense. It could be like 1 week stretch, you know, you're writing exams back to back. So when exams are over like that, we're just always in our hostel, chilling, watching movies, all of that kind of stuff. And I remember that fateful day was, I don't remember the particular day of the week, but I know it was in the evening stroke night time. I think it was like 7 p.m. thereabouts. And they dropped a message on the group chat that the result was out and that they had pasted it in the college like secretary office. So we had to go down there to check the results because they will paste it like on the wall kind of thing, and you just see your matric number and everything. So all of us left the hostel now, like ran down, let's go and see. Like people were excited, mixed feelings really, like, oh, I hope I passed, let me just go and see my result, that kind of stuff. And I have a friend, so my matric number in school was the year I entered /0726. I had a friend whose matric number was 0723. And so what they do is they arrange results according to matric number. So I knew that my matric number was immediately going to follow hers. You get, because we were directly after each other. So I remember going excited, like, oh, let's see these results now, because even if you're scared about how the exam went, your expectation is still that, oh, I'm going to pass this exam. I guess that's what it usually is, right? So I remember getting to the board, and then my friend had gone ahead of me, and she had seen her number and like was jubilating that day. Like the memory is still in my head, like I can never forget. And I remember her jubilating, and I remember her saying, I don't see your quest number, because my number ideally should be after hers. And I just looked, men and bedroom, people of God, my number was actually not after hers. And so if you don't see your number, you have to go like into the office, and then there will be like another list there that you can check. So I checked the list, and I saw my name, my number under physiology receipt, and I was just very crushed, because with receipts, it's like you've done the year, I've done 2 years already, and then I have to now do another 6 weeks of reading for the exam while my mates are in the next class, and I have to also attend the 400 level classes, because nobody's going to wait for you, you know. And so what I just did, after I saw the receipts, I called my parents, told them. They took it very, very well. My parents, like I shared in my video of how I go into medical school, have always been very supportive. We're very supportive before medical school, during medical school, after medical school. Just amazing. And my dad is a doctor, so he kind of understands all of this medical school, you know, all of that. So yeah, it was really tough just saying that. I remember getting to the hostel and just crying. I'm just feeling like, you know, why would this happen? How did this happen? And bear in mind, I was also a Christian, and you know, sometimes as a Christian, you just always want it to be like soft landing, all true, but that's not the reality, as we all know that, you know, trials and tribulations will come and whatnot. So I remember that some ladies just came to my room that night, prayed with me, because I used to attend a fellowship called Potter's Touch. So they came to my room that night and just prayed with me, and that really helped, really encouraged me. It was just really nice knowing that I had people who would be there for me. So yeah, and then I think the next day or 2 days after, I went home and started to prepare for my receipt, and then finally wrote the exam. And I remember that one of the major things that I struggled with after knowing that I had to write a receipt was just thinking about the fact that what's going to, like, if after studying and reading with my mates I couldn't pass this exam, how am I sure that I would be able to pass it now? Like, just feeling like I don't think I can do this if I didn't do it the first time. And I remember that because in our physiology, embedded in it, we're also doing psychology. And I remember one of the psychiatrists was teaching a class when we had like receipt classes, and he just asked us like, oh, how are we feeling? Is there anything we want to talk about? And I remember I shared that with him in class to say, this is how I'm feeling, and he just really encouraged me and said, oh, don't feel bad, don't feel that way, don't worry, you can do this. It was really encouraging for me. And I also had a friend of mine who was also writing the receipts. So I had like 2-3 friends who were writing a particular course. So we were able to read together and prepare together. And to be honest, now that I remember, the day I actually had this physiology exam, because in medical school we do something like, after doing objective, that's multiple choice questions and theory, we also do an exam, we also do practical, and we also do an exam called viva, which is like the one-on-one session where an examiner asks a question, and usually the viva can make a person pass or make a person fail. What I mean is, if a person was already borderline maybe 47, a viva can push such a person to a 50 and the person passes. And if a person was borderline 47 and didn't do well in the viva again, person can fail. So the viva was helpful in that area, but most people always just wanted to pass the exam itself before even having to do viva, really. And I remember that the day when I had my viva exam, just before the exam that morning, I was reading upstairs, you know, with a couple of friends, and my phone fell. I was using a Samsung phone then. It fell from upstairs downstairs, and the ink poured, the screen wasn't working, wasn't coming on. So I was very destabilized. It was just all over the place. I remember going into the exam hall, this lady asked me a question. So they usually bring external examiners from like other universities for the viva exam, and I remember that this viva examiner was from, I think, Lut or Lasut, but she was from Lagos, and she asked me a question, and this was a question that I knew, like a question that I'm quite familiar with. But I don't know, I just didn't remember, I couldn't answer. And when that realization hit me, I started to panic, just felt frustration. Then with the phone that had fallen down earlier that day, it was just a lot of emotions. And next thing I know, people of God, I started to cry in front of my examiner. I remember the lady gave me tissue and said, clean your face, and gave me a few minutes and then continued with the exam. And I still couldn't answer because I was just destabilized. And in retrospect, I think I look back at that day and I'm like, if things were different that day, maybe whatever it is that I got in my viva would have pushed me to get a 50, or a 50.5 or 50.2 to just pass the course at once. But I mean, I do know and I do believe that all things work together for good for them that love God. So yeah, that's what happened. So that's the story, guys, and thanks be to God who causes us to triumph. 6 weeks after I wrote my receipt, result came out and I passed. But those 6 weeks were tough. Like I already said, it was tough juggling, reading for a receipt, going for new classes, and the emotional aspect of it, because when you pass or when you don't pass in medical school, everybody knows, because the kind of medical school I went to, everybody knows everybody. So the emotional aspect as well was a lot to deal with. But to be honest, failure is part of the journey, honestly. So honestly, yeah, it's a part of the journey. So I'll take some of my top tips for dealing with failure in medical school will be to not give up, because there's some people always say that now give up, now lose, and that's the reality. Because in as much as it's painful and it's very hard to have to deal with a receipt or a repeat, you have another chance, either through a receipt or a repeat. And if you don't give that other chance your best shot or a better shot, at the end of the day, it's still gonna end up being a fail. And so what I would say is, don't give up. Gather the motivation that you can, and I would say in this area, let your friends be there for you, let your family be there for you, receive the love, receive the help that everybody's offering. I remember I'll have people randomly say, oh, should I buy you food? I will collect, oh please, yes. Like, accept the love that people are offering you, because there's a tendency to want to go into your shell, feel ashamed, feel frustrated, feel like, yeah, I don't think I'm good enough. But please remember that your grades don't define you. Your value doesn't come from what kind of grades that you have. This thing that happened in 2016. If I don't tell you, you will not know. If I become a cardiothoracic surgeon tomorrow, if I don't share that part of my story, nobody's gonna know. And to be honest, I would even gladly share, because I feel like it would encourage anybody coming behind me to say, don't give up, just keep pushing, receive the help. Look back at the course and ask yourself, what can I do better? What part of this course did I not understand? Go back to the drawing board. What don't I understand? What do I need to improve on? Let people help you. If you need somebody to explain, shout out to all the numerous people in medical school who explained things to me. I had a study group where I would go to if I don't understand. Yeah, I need to explain. Like, it was really helpful. So I'll say join study groups. Okay, I know I'm mashing all my points together, but I hope that this helps. Join a study group, allow people help you, don't give up. And I would also always say pray, because I'm a believer, like I believe in Christ, and I believe that God is available to help us. So I will also say pray. That also helps. So I think that's really what happened. That's how I failed an exam in medical school, which was a major exam, which could, if I had failed it the second time, I would have repeated the class. But thank God that was not the case. And I just hope that this video helps you if you're currently going through a failure, or if you have failed before with an exam. And this doesn't even only apply to medics, really, whatever exam it is that you're doing or that you have written before. I hope this kind of helps and gives you perspective and encourages you. Yeah, that's my story about failing in medical school. And thank God, after that major exam, I never failed anyone again till I finished medical school, which was just amazing. So thank God for that. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any suggestions on videos that you want to see as regards to medicine, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I would try my possible best to film that video for you. If you have any questions, please ask me down below, okay? And if you are watching my video and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'm not very sure why you haven't, but yeah, you need to you need to I want to hit 500 subscribers as soon as, as soon as it can happen. And you guys are the ones that will make that possible. So please subscribe to my channel, please like, please share, please yeah, comment down below. Love to read from you guys. What's been your story? Have you ever failed a major exam? How did you deal with it? What tips would you like to give anyone? And yeah, I hope to